Welcome back to the stream. We are on Illuvium, the Download Illuvium News episode, I think like 76 or something ridiculous. I almost said we're back with the Illuvium Inferno because I've got that in like 12 hours from now or whatever it is. I'm looking forward to that tournament. We've got 32 players that have been playing the ranked games. I'm looking forward to future tournaments as well, and a lot of other stuff we're going to talk about regarding tournaments, the arena updates, and so on in this stream today. I did actually want to lead off really strong here, and I've got a question for you, okay? There has been a lot of discussion lately in the Discord regarding the MMO Lite. A lot of people, let's say all the polls I've been seeing on Twitter at least, everyone's saying, I just want to play the MMO Lite. A lot of people in the current community, even deeply in the Illuvium community and in the broader crypto gaming community, don't really care much about Gauntlet or Auto Battlers or whatever. They care more about the creature capture side of things. I know the MMO Lite's a while away or whatever it might be, but do you think we're going to get things like multiplayer and overworld combat in the near future? In the current overworld?
That is a very good question. I want to dive and double click on something that you mentioned right there. You said that the current community and the Web3 community is more interested in overworld. Is that what you said?
Yeah, that's definitely what I'm seeing from all the polls that people have been posting around, all the discussions in the Discord and stuff. People are just really excited for the MMO. Or, well, excited for the overworld in general.
Of course. And so what I'll do is I'll address that head on in terms of one of the things that I want to address very quickly is I do think there is a space for an auto battler. Yes, it is a niche genre. Is our current community, is the Web3 community the right audience for that genre? Potentially not. And I think all data sets that we look at show that it isn't the right match. But I do think there is a huge opportunity with the TFT crowd. When we had reached out previously, our game wasn't anywhere close to being ready. I mentioned this on a previous stream that we had, that I'm now in talks with a lot of the TFT guys. One of the guys I had mentioned had actually played with someone else during Ascendant mode, and he was like, "Oh, that looks interesting," but it wasn't quite there yet. And I sent him the clip of the tournament, the hype tournament with Caveman, that final clip. And I was like, hey man, this is actually what it looks like now. It's much more similar to TFT. And that really piqued his interest. He's like, okay, this seems like something that I'm way more interested in. So I think that there is an audience for that auto battler. And if we run the marketing strategy properly for that, and we execute that well, I think that there's a lot of success to be had in that space. Now, turning to the MMO, are we going to see what you're asking? Essentially, what you're asking for is, are we going to see some of the features drip fed to us? That's essentially what you're asking. Am I understanding
it's just
that
those
correct?
two specific features. I don't want them to be drip fed for the next 2 or 3 years. I don't mind, but at the moment, I would really like to explore in the overworld. But it would be way more encouraging if I could explore the overworld with you or Jimbo or someone. Just like go and hang out in the overworld with other people. Just even adding that would just. I know the player base isn't huge or anything, but I would say it would even double the player base and just make the game a bit more engaging when people want to engage with it. I know it's not going to like change the entire narrative on Illuvium or anything like that, but I think having just those little things that feels like they're missing and then waiting for the MMO Lite could be good. I don't know, but that's more personal anecdotes than anything data driven.
No. And I mean, it's valid. It's very valid. What I would say is I think there are different ways to implement features like that. That's not just, with the overworld, now we have multiplayer or combat. Maybe that is a lot of the things that we're working on Breach is actually going to be translated into the MMO, and it's kind of a testing field for us. So I think maybe, by the way, I spoke to Jimbo today, actually. So he's still around. He's doing his own thing with life. But yeah, no, he's very much still around. But yeah, so I think something like that, where if we're thinking simply in a one-dimensional way of, okay, we want multiplayer in our current overworld, is that going to happen? I can't give you a direct answer on that. If we kind of play around with potential of, do we see maybe a version of Breach that reaches the public before the MMO, and that has that combat, that has that essence of multiplayer? will we get to experience it firsthand there first? I'd be more open to that and say, yeah, that's probably a higher chance of happening than having those features just into our current overworld. And obviously, there's a lot of variables. We need to see how automated drone runs come out. If the community says, hey, look, we want automated drone runs, we don't need overworld anymore. There's a lot of conversation to be had, and that is going to influence the direction that we take this.
Yeah, I get that. I guess I'm just really looking forward to just doing that. Even if it's like not the best, it's not like a game-changing feature. It's better than going into the auto battles and doing the full battle and stuff. It's a bit faster, but automated drone runs, I'm very, very excited for them, especially if I can open up tons and tons of alluvials. Like, we're talking like I can do 100 alluvial opening streams like every day. Well, not every day, but
Right.
like once a week, I could do like 100 pack opening. I would absolutely love that. I would drop so much money on Illuvium, and I definitely shouldn't be, but I would drop so much money on the Illuvium ecosystem. It's not even funny. And if Leviathan and stuff is like rebalanced and fixed up and stuff as well, I cannot wait. I don't know. This is just a personal anecdote. I have no idea how many people are going to interact with automated drone runs, Leviathan, and so on and so forth. It's going to be hard to guess without the game being fully polished, that is. But I'm very excited to open up so many packs of alluvials.
Yeah, so there's a couple of things that you hit on right there. I'm actually really glad that we're having this conversation. I feel like a lot has changed. A lot of information has been shared that we can discuss, dive into a little bit more. In terms of the first thing of opening up a whole bunch of packs, one of the things I want to address, and it's something that we want to try and get at some point, will it be at the launch of, let's just shorten it to ADR, Automated Drone Run, so we don't have to keep saying it. But one of the things that we would like to see at some point with ADR is batch openings. Like, I don't know, I know we've both played the Pokemon trading card thing on the phone where you can open 10 at a time, right? Like, that's very, very good and time efficient. That probably won't be a thing that happens immediately at launch, but it will be something that we try to explore. It's a bit harder to achieve on the back end, but when we get that and the logic is built on the back end, that is something that we'd love to see moving forward. So that's one thing. The other thing about Leviathan, I know there's been quite a bit of discussions about what direction Leviathan takes. And it's still being a conversation that's being had internally, but with ADRs coming, with Overworld, I think it's going to be quite interesting. But we've started to see the leaks of, I'm using all these acronyms right now, but the TPI, the Trait Purity Indicator, we've started to see things like that. So we are actually getting a bit closer to where we want Leviathan to be, and we've started to make some plans on how do I say this? Encouraging that game mode. So I think once we get that, like, I'm very keen to see what that looks like and try that out. And it gives players a reason to own their alluvials, right? Like, I think that's a big thing that a lot of us has been missing for a long time. Once we get the TPIs in and the Illuvidex, once we have a use case for having a good traded alluvials, I think that's like it opens up a lot of fun possibilities there. And yeah, balancing is a thing, but based on the conversation that I'm hearing, I think it's going in a direction that I'm excited to explore anyway.
Yeah, I think, it's going to be so interesting. But what you said about the bulk pack opening is quite fascinating, because although it's obviously going to be a feature in the future, I don't think it's as necessary as you think. Like, with all the Illuvium Beyond discs, right? I opened probably over 250 discs overall in Wave 3, I think. Most of them standard and stuff like that. Anyways, with the Mega discs, just like Kieran, because Kieran was doing the same thing, I couldn't bear to use the Battle in the Beyond system. I just wanted that like dopamine hit of seeing the red behind and stuff like that, and not wanting to bulk open them. I want to see what they are every single time. With the standard disc, I was doing a lot of bulk openings and stuff. But the beauty of things like ADR, automated drone runs, is that you have the 3 different stages. Like, I don't believe that's going away. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but stage 1, 2, and 3 travels in the overworld, right? So you can have bulk for things like a stage 1 travel. We're opening hundreds or thousands of them because they're relatively cheap or whatever it is. But then for like a stage 3, it's probably more expensive. You're getting more rare alluvials. That's kind of your bulk. Say it's 10 times the price of a stage 1 or whatever it might be, then you're essentially opening 10 packs at once every time you open it. And so that gets interesting as well. And that helps a lot in the short term, at least. I think bulks could be cool, but I'm excited for the content wise. I'm excited for opening them one at a time. And like, I really hope they have something like a pity timer. I don't know if you've ever heard, I'm sure you know what a pity timer is. Yeah,
of course.
I think that would be really cool. And it's tied to the account. You can't really bot it because there would be no point because your pity timer would reset at the same like everyone else or whatever it might be. But yeah, like a 100 packs pity timer or set whatever where you're guaranteed like a tier 3 holo or better or something like that. I think that would be really, really cool. And I would love to see that get added into the game. It would make it a lot more exciting.
Yeah, I don't know about the pity thing. I'm not for or against it. I'm happy to see what they go with. Addressing Reem, in terms of the game half baked, look, that's something that has happened. We can't go back and change that. So we just need to go and move forward and do the best that we can. It's something that the team is very much aware of. And regarding all future launches, you're going to see that with ADR. It's going to be way more thought out. It's not going to be one of these things where it's like, oh, yeah, but we could have done that. We could have done that. It is going to be thought out. It's going to address as many people as possible. And I think it's going to be quite a good launch with a bunch of activities, with a bunch of incentives that I think a lot of players are going to enjoy. So, yes, what you're saying is absolutely valid. We take it, we accept it, and all we can do is take that on board and move forward in a much more positive way, and that is what we're attempting.
I can't wait, man. I just want to get that dopamine rush of pulling like a holo fiery without having to spend like 3 weeks in the overworld. Just it'd be great.
That's something like I would have collected a lot more Illuviums. I just don't have the time to smash out overworld like that. Whereas with this, like, yeah, I could open a couple of packs here and there every couple of weeks. Like, it's something that I can see myself doing. But there's no, like, unfortunately, it's not that I don't want to play. I just don't have the time to commit.
Even now, like once a week, I'll be like, you know what? I want to open a disc. I'll just go buy a $5 disc, open it, or a mega disc.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just open it up on the fly, and I'll be like, nice. And then just do it next week and stuff like that. But with packs, it's even better because they're going to be, let's assume they're probably going to be cheaper than $2 or $3, whatever it is. So you can just open 50, 20 of them at a time, just randomly sometime in the week, and just do that every now and then. You might just trying to go for that holo phosphorus or whatever it might be. I can't wait. I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
That's very specific, but yes.
I actually already have a holo phosphorus. What I need is the Titan ore. I would love a Titan ore. Okay.
What I need is a holo G-Shock Arcos.
I don't think that's ever going to exist. If you got it, it might be a 1 of 1.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I'm sure it exists. I'm sure it's out there. It's just gone.
Maybe if someone wants to check if there's a holo G-Shock. No, not G-Shock Arcos. The rare G-Shock Arcos. If anyone wants to check for that.
Yeah. The Unleashed G-Shock.
Yeah. Okay. So let's jump into it. The first announcement we had this week was actually patch notes. Patch 1.4.1 was deployed. That's the word I'm looking for. Was deployed this week with a bunch of adjustments across the board. We'll just bring that up. Pretty basic stuff. Tiktaalik got a little bit nerfed. Thylacine, Axolotl, and Waterflish. Axolotl got a pretty huge, substantial nerf to the damage it does with its shield, which is good because it was pretty oppressive on things like Axon, but I think they reduced it too much for Axodon. He should feel really strong. Waterflish nerfed a little bit. Synergies were adjusted a bunch. Vanguard got nerfed a tad. Spore got nerfed, and I got improved a little bit. Predator got a big nerf, which is really good. Mystic got a tiny nerf, probably about the same now. Rogues, a big nerf. Well, not huge. It's really only at the high end, but now 9 rogues isn't as oppressive as it was before. Tempest, a slight adjustment. I've been told it still works. Arcanite nerfed. I'm not happy about that. If you know where Nil lives, let me know. I need to go speak to him.
Yo, the Omega Arcos holo is like there's only one for sale and it's at $1,000.
That's not even that bad, dude. Like, I'm surprised you didn't buy it.
Bro, I ain't dropping $1,000 on that.
It's pretty rare, man.
I have a baby to feed. That's
true. That's true. Okay, Colossus got nerfed a bit, which is surprising because it's so hard to acquire. And augment's got a bunch of adjustments. I've actually really felt these. These are pretty good. So some of the augments are coming more in line though. Although I believe the team is actually going to be overhauling augments quite a bit in the upcoming big upgrades. So that's all going to be interesting because I feel like augments are one of the worst parts of the game right now where they're fun and all, but they're just kind of game breaking in terms of the way they influence the gameplay and the RNG of the game. But yeah, so hyper was adjusted a bit for rogues as well. Lynx has improved a little bit, which is good. Templar Bloom adjusted. Augments, a bunch of augments were fixed, and a bunch of Illuvial's bugs were fixed as well. So I don't want to say bug free, and we've got a message or two here about bugs, but the game feels pretty good now. Like every single patch we've had, there's been like one game breaking bug that's really annoying, like the toxic one, for example. But at the moment, it all feels like it's functioning properly. I don't want to jinx it. And it's all going to change quickly. When they upgrade things, everything's going to get broken for a time at least, which should be interesting. But generally speaking, very exciting times for Illuvium and the Illuvium arena at the moment. The next thing is Rich announced on behalf of Illuvium the upcoming Illuvium community events. The wildfire is the most notable one here that I should mention because it is in about I'll probably be live about 11 hours from now, streaming round 2 of the tournament, going into the grand finals. It's going to be a lot of fun. We've got some really big major competitors in the tournament scene for this one. It's going to be a really fun time. We've also got, what's upcoming? We've got the qualifiers for Phantom next week. And then the qualifiers for Hyperion the week after. Daydream tournament is every Sunday. So in two days from now, more or less, 3 days maybe. Because of time zones. And then there's daily Leviathan play testing that's also going to go live as well. Very exciting. So there's been a lot of comments in the community about like what's coming next, when is it coming, and things like that. This is nothing new, but Kieran does address it here, where he says there's no point dropping a roadmap until we know it will be accurate. We're close to being able to finalize something for the arena and drone runs, fuel optimization, and we don't have more info on the overworld at the moment. It is worth noting they're waiting to hire a game director. So when that happens, hopefully we'll get more info. They aren't holding it up because we want to create uncertainty. We want it to be as accurate as possible. And as soon as we can, we will put it out. I don't know when that'll happen. I know that's a bit like arbitrary. It's a bit hard, but I'm looking forward to when we do get those roadmaps and things like that. Just read chat quickly. Okay, so anyone remember when Illuvium was $2,000? Good times. Okay, so the next thing from Kieran here is once these 5 new features come to Gauntlet, can you rattle them off, the 5 features?
Not off the top of my head. I need to bring up.
We've got weapons overhaul, carousel, region selection, some sort of augment overhaul, maybe, and did I say weapon? Did I say weapon overhaul? I'm sure there's something else.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, there's a couple other things.
And Kieran says at the moment he's finding himself playing 50-50 TFT and Gauntlet. The only reason I would be playing TFT more is because it's on mobile, but I don't really play TFT anymore. But I don't think it has anything to do with Illuvium. Then we have one really good game and one solid, and then it's time to turn Overworld into New Dawn. Not minted. All his money is an ILV. I don't know. Oh, right. He's only selling it when he needs tax money and living money. I absolutely feel that. Tax money is a killer. For anyone who's unaware, Australian taxes happen in the middle of the year. And so that's why shit gets weird for us. Like everyone else is doing all their taxes at the end of the year. I don't know when yours is, Taryn, but in Australia, it's in the middle of the year. So you'll see like, yeah. So when I talk about taxes, people are like, oh, why are you doing it now? I'm like, I have to. It's my tax time. Anyways, at the end, he says, not saying you shouldn't be complaining. He would be furious as well, but he wants you to see that we aren't just frolicking in the sunset. They are working hard behind the scenes. I know it's really hard to see it at the moment because historically, Illuvium's been very much more building in the public. Even now, they technically are, but there's much less communication in terms of leaks and stuff like that. There's just less like showing it off day in and day out really, really obviously. And it makes people think that nothing's happening sometimes, but they're working on things. And It's one of those things where it's like slowly, then all at once. I think these features are going to roll out really, really fast when they start rolling out. We just need that first domino to fall. I don't know if you agree with me there.
Yeah, no, 100%. I think we've taken a bit more with you kind of see it with the lack of leaks and things like that. I think as much I whether it's beneficial or not, it's hard to say. But I think we're taking a bit more of a build behind the scenes approach, and it's definitely helpful for the team in terms of we just get to focus on delivering like the actual product without the pressure of, hey, these guys expect this, these guys expect this, they've seen this, we need to deliver this one quickly. We just get to do that. But also I think the community is quite used to us building so publicly that they expect more of it. So it's one of those tightropes that we're trying to balance
Well,
on.
it's funny. I think what's easy to forget with all this is in terms of artwork, it's basically all complete now. And that's really what leaks are. There are a lot of artwork. There are a lot of, oh, we created this new 3D model. Check it out. Oh, this new 3D model has an animation. Check it out. A lot of that stuff in terms of Gauntlet and Arena, especially, is basically complete now. We don't need new animations for Axodon. Not really. We don't need any of that new stuff. And we'll see the kind of drone blast and stuff ongoing hyper. But really, what a lot of the building that's happening right now is behind the scenes coding and dev work and stuff like that. And that's not the sort of stuff we ever really actually leaked. It's just now a lot of the art's finished, as there's less to leak of that. And we're not working on any new regions right now. Like Tiger Boreal, I think, and Halcyon Sea are being wrapped up behind the scenes, but they're not really like working on them a ton, as far as I can tell. So even though there's a lot of building, it's a different kind of building that doesn't really come with leakable elements. And so that's a little bit like what it is. And that's kind of why these dev blogs have started to kick up, where who wrote the one before? It wasn't Neil. It was it Stuart? And now Aaron's writing one and stuff like that. And so those sorts of things are more like a dev leak. And I wish we got more of them. I really love Wild the World does a gigantic like one that takes you like 3 hours to read every single month. I would love to see that sort of stuff from Illuvium. I don't know who would write it, but that sort of stuff is really, really cool. But really, that's the sort of phase of development that Illuvium is in. And so it's harder to leak that. And I think a lot of people forget that. All right. So this next one is really interesting. This one's from Roger right here. Roger says, so what is your roadmap going to do for you then? You're asking to inspire confidence and roadmaps, then also saying the only thing to turn heads is a big release. They're focused on building the game, essentially. He says that there are podcasts, blogs, town halls, and a 24/7 CEO on speed dial in the Discord. Honestly, Kieran responds to basically every time he's tagged. Like, don't go and overly tag him. But if you have a question that you feel is urgent and you really want an answer to it, be my guest. He'll give you straight up everything he can say, like straight to your face. He just will. Like, you guys have no idea. If you want to look for, because I do this every week for the show, if you want to look for what's happening in Illuvium, just search in the little search bar, say from Kieran Warwick, and it'll show you all his messages. And there's some pretty good alpha in there if you're really looking for it. The other thing he says, they are bug fixing to keep things playable and testing the necessary systems while working on the big, he'd almost call it a re-release of Arena. I don't know if you would agree with that.
No, it's huge. I've kind of alluded to it in the previous stream, I think, that we did. Like, there's a soft relaunch planned for Arena Gauntlet, and then a what I would call the official relaunch for Arena Gauntlet with Team Liquid and everything like that. I've been doing a little bit of work on that as well. So, yeah, 100%. In terms of the relaunch tag, I 100% agree with that.
Do you guys have an internal build with a bunch of these new features that you guys are able to play?
The guys that are working on it have, absolutely. I haven't played it just yet. I've been hyper focused on my thing and not necessarily the testing of the builds.
So it makes me wonder, like, if there's 5 new features or whatever, and they're going to kind of come out one at a time. I wonder if all 5 of them are like in an unpolished state in the game, and they're polishing one at a time, or if they're just full building one at a time.
It's being done simultaneously.
They're all just kind of being worked on at once.
Yeah. So, like, what I maybe not all of them, but not just a singular one at the same time. So somewhere in the middle. And something that I think that I mentioned previously as well is that we're going to be doing one major update per month. So we're in the final month of June.
January.
Jesus. In the final month of January, correct. So next month, in the first week or so, we're probably going to see a relatively major update to everything that we have. And then you can expect the same thing at the start of March, so on and so forth. And in the middle of that, you can see balance patches and things like that. So I think a lot of these features we're going to see at the start of each month.
Awesome. So we've got a new leak that came out of Going Hyper today. New morphopods. Look, I hate the current morphopods. I actually don't even think they're all that inspired. This thing looks cool. I actually really like this. And what you guys might not know is that Roger commented on it, and he said these are definitely big enough to slash into with your sword or hit them with your fist. Now, this leaves me to speculate, okay? So they're bigger, and they're being built for the overworld in some degree, I'm sure, but they're focused on the gauntlet. So are morphopods going to come to the gauntlet? I guess that would make a lot of sense. In what way are they going to come? It'd be cool if you could add them to your team in some way, or buy them from the shop, or equip them to a weapon. I don't know. But it'd be really cool to see them get more into the game if they look like that. I think those look really, really cool. So I'm looking forward to it.
I'm going to give you a chance to ask one question about this, and I'll answer yes or no, like just one of them. So you asked like 3 questions just there. Pick one of them, and I'll answer one.
Chat, what do you think?
That I can.
Is there something in particular I should ask regarding morphopods in the gauntlet?
Well, are we just waiting for chat?
I don't think you're going to answer. It's okay.
But
are you going? Are you going to battle morphopods in the gauntlet arena?
Yes. Cool. And in regards to the your comment about them not being inspired, I'm not an artist, but I'm going to defend the artist. If you actually zoom in, like the problem with the morphopods in their current implementation is that they're so too small. If you actually zoomed on it, they are inspired. It's just very, very hard to
absolutely agree. Visually, they've done a fantastic job on them, but I don't really like how they're just like little bugs flying around you. I'm looking forward to when they become a bit more, I don't know, interact with you more in different ways and a bit more interesting and stuff like that. That was a good question from Reem. I hope you can answer that. Will they have kind of different affinities in the overworld? Will they have different affinities in Gauntlet?
I'm going to lie and say that I was only supposed to answer one. So I'm lying right now. I'm going to answer a second and say yes.
Interesting. It'd be really cool if you like built like a full air team and you just so happen to RNG against some sort of round with morphopods, or they join an enemy team or something, and it counters your affinity, like it's water or earth or whatever. And then you're going to have a harder time beating the morphopods. That would be really funny. All right. So the new rating system also got previewed. It's easy to forget there's like 50 fucking ongoing things right now with Illuvium, like not just in the arena gauntlet. We've got trait purity and repositories being worked on, drone runs, MMO light features, multiplayer servers, all the rest of it. Like, it's crazy. Anyways.
There's a lot, man. There's a reason that we haven't been as public. Like the team is working a crazy amount. That means marketing. We've cut back on the marketing team, but the lean team that we have, we're working incredibly hard. The devs, the art, everyone it's crunch time. It is crunch time.
Okay, this is really interesting. Let's break this down quickly. Okay. Oh my god, I just messed up my camera. I hate it when it does that. Okay. Firstly, we've got a lot of colors here. And I really don't like the way it looks like that's like the stat radial chart. I don't like the visual setup of that. You can't really read it, so I don't see the point of it all that much. But what I want to look at here is the colors. We can see that all 3 of them are fire affinity, but the colors are all different. I'm assuming that's based on rarity because that's matching the Illuvium Beyond discs colors, right? Where red's the highest, orange lower.
I won't say it matches that. I'm unsure of that. But yes, in terms of rarity and thresholds for TPI, Yes.
Yeah, so anything above a 90 is probably red. Anything above a 70 is orange. That's actually what I did in my indicator. Is the same color scheme style. I doubt you guys use that, but very funny. Okay, interesting. And then you've got the stat spread and stuff as well. But that ramp is not really a 91, or I guess it probably has high attack speed and damage, which would make it high.
It's
pretty cool. Pretty cool.
I believe it's just a template.
Oh,
Like,
okay, right.
It's not.
Reading too much into things. Classic Jason. All right. The next one we got is from Nil here, where he says each guild organizes the tournaments as it considers best, and it's cool as a variety among guilds. He really liked the qualifier system that was introduced recently, where you have to play ranked games, which keeps ranked games incentivized while we wait for ranked rewards and competitive landscape to kickstart. It also generates more gameplay data, which increases the sample size to improve balance. So I'm really glad that all these tournaments and the grassroots competition and stuff has actually made it easier for the team to balance. But at the same time, if we need a lot of players for this sort of stuff, if that becomes critical, I definitely, as a council member, I would definitely be pushing for leaderboard rewards to kick in sooner rather than later. Because of all the new features, I'm not too fussed about it. But if we have a lot of features in and stuff like that, and the team needs bigger sample sizes for testing, I would actually be pushing for that. I think that would be quite important. We want to make sure it's balanced and set up properly. Hey, long sleeves in the house. How's it going, man? We're not playing any Web3 games today. It's the Download Illuvium News, where we talk about all things Illuvium and its news. And yeah, we're getting to the end of the episode today. All right, the next one is Neil said the one with better performance. Wait, no, I'm looking at this one. Okay, so he said that when Hetty, Blotto, Omega, apparently there's a bug where it doesn't do any damage, and it's supposed to now. They added that in, but apparently it's not working. It's not actually doing any damage to opponents and stuff like that. So Neil said that Eddie found the issue, and they'll fix it with the next release. I also like how they can just like pump through patch updates without having to update the client. Really big improvement, and I'm glad they're doing it a lot more frequently too. The next thing is I never actually understood how Ramfire worked, and I should have. It should have been obvious as hell to me. But he explains how Ramfire works. Firstly, it's changed slightly. It's 0.2 seconds less in the air, which probably means it's going to hit more things. But really the big thing is when Ramfire is in the air, it is not completely untargetable. It can be hit by projectiles. So Scoriox counters it, and that's all that needs to. That's all that matters. Okay. The next.
Wait, you didn't know it got hit airborne?
I always knew that some things hit it, but I just always assumed things that weren't shooting projectiles also hit it, but I guess they don't. So I never really thought about it that closely. I'm like, who hits it? Who doesn't hit it? What's going on? So the next thing we've got is Going Hyper went live this morning. It goes live every 2 weeks. I definitely recommend you guys check it out. They reveal a lot of really great alpha. They have a lot of leaks and things like that. It's basically one of the only places where you can be the first to see leaks for the game. Some great discussion at the front end, but they went through some of the different drone skins. If this loads eventually, this one was the Scorpion line, right?
Mm-hmm.
We had the Red Panda right there. Some really great leaks here. Some really interesting drone items. Last episode they had, we actually saw the carousel and some early concept art for that. We got some whip art for what looks like Shard Bluff Labyrinth.
It's the ADR, the ADR stuff.
Oh, is this the ADR stuff?
It's related to the ADR.
Very
stuff,
cool.
yeah.
Oh, this looks cool. Oh, that's the other thing I forgot about ADR. It's going to include all 7 regions, which I think is really cool. I know we can't explore Crystal Shores or anything, but it's going to be really cool to see all the new odds tables and things like that. All right. So that is Tiger Boreal. I missed all this because I was like listening when I was in my car because they got in the car at the same time they started, but I had a really busy day at work today, so I could keep listening. This one looks really cool. Some sort of bubble drone blast. I love this sort of concept art before they get into the game design side of things. Then they opened some discs and played some Gauntlet and things like that. Definitely worth going and checking out Going Hyper every 2 weeks. This is a quick PSA. This Renan's dev guy says he works for Illuvium, has 12,000 followers. but he does not. He's a scammer. Block him at all costs. Now that I've shown you this,
Have you reported him now?
I'll report him after this. I forgot. All right. The next thing is the Leviathan Lounge. Sometime daily sessions at 16 UTC and 20 UTC. What's 16 UTC from now? That's 5 a.m. for me. So 7 hours from now, 8 hours from now, 7 hours from now. 7 hours from now, and then 11 hours from now is going to be daily sessions in the Illuvium Leviathan. If you've got a lot of great Leviathan Illuvials that you don't mind the broken balance, then go jump in. I can't wait for when it's fixed. I'm looking forward to getting more involved with Leviathan. If you want Leviathan tutorials and videos, please let me know down below. But yeah, so that looks like a lot of fun. I hope people enjoy that. And the last thing is their latest tournament was apparently really fun. People said Caveman did a really good job hosting this one, doing a lot of commentary and casting and things like that for the tournament, which is really exciting to see. Fox Spirit actually took first place. Slicks had won the past 3 tournaments, so knocked them down to second for this tournament. And Web3 Gaming Top TV taking out the top 3 there. Special shout out to Hype, Quants, Caveman, and Polemos for all of the event shoutcasting and things like that. Also, if anyone wants to co-host my tournament tomorrow, let me know. If you guys watch this at some point, I would love to have someone to come on with me. You want to?
No, I'm joking.
I would have asked you, but it'd be like it's 8 a.m. for me. I'll probably jump on, so that's like a 6 a.m. for you.
5 a.m. for you. Yeah, I know that.
All right, that's all I got for today's episode. I guess the last thing I want to ask is like, is there anything you could tell us on automated drone runs? Like, I don't know why I'm so excited for it. I just want to open a pack every now and then, I guess. But like, so we can go into any of the 7 regions. I don't think there's going to be weapons and armor in the pack.
I apologize. I just saw the images for the blog. All right,
is the blog gonna get launched right now?
No, probably not right now, but okay, very cool. All right, I think you guys are gonna like this. The addition to the very cool. I think you guys are gonna like it. It adds a lot of value.
I think adding the images was
hopefully
the right
comes
call.
out.
I 100% agree with that.
Yeah.
I think people need to be able to visually see something, like mentioning, because the funny part is this isn't a blog going out to TFT players, because the problem you have is people are like, oh, the carousel's coming. And anyone who's played TFT knows exactly what that means and what to expect. And so we can visualize it straight away. We know exactly what you're talking about, but 99% of the community, they just don't. That's just nonsense words to them. So showing it off in concept art form is undoubtedly important for this. So I'm looking forward to it. Yeah.
No, I agree 100%. No, I think you guys are going to really like. Yeah. I'm just looking at it again. Very cool. Very cool. I'm glad that they decided to do this. Oh, so good. Yeah. Oh,
so.
Like, I think this is a great way to end the episode, but I'm hoping it comes out soon because it's looking quite
I was going to ask one last question. So with drone runs, you can pick out of the 7 regions. And I'm assuming you don't get weapons or armor or ores or whatever. I think that's going to be reserved for things like the MMO Lite. My question is, do you get 5 alluvials?
That's it. That's
I don't know what else to ask.
Do you get 5
I could ask for like the odds of hollows and stuff, but that'll come in the future, I suppose.
Okay, so your question is, do you get 5 alluvials? It's still it's still being worked on, but potential, like I say, potentially it's going to be 50-50, yes or no, but probably at least is the safe
I don't know
answer.
how many I would want to open, but I don't think I'd want to go beyond 7. All right. Anyways, we better wrap it up there. I'm looking forward to this blog. I hope it gets dropped today or tomorrow. I really, really do. I would like to make a video on it if it gets dropped soon too. I've got 2 Illuvium videos I want to make tonight to release over the next 2 weeks or so, but having a third to put in an extra day would be really sweet. And yeah, with that, the download is complete. Have a good one, guys.